Agribusiness 233 today comes to you from a greenhouse farm. And today we are going to learn about greenhouse farming and how people are making in a lot of money from greenhouse farming. Largely young people, when they graduate from school or perhaps when they are out there looking for employment, they don't know all the various facets and strands, all the various areas they can make money from. Greenhouse farming is one of the most trusted ways make a lot of money in agribusiness under a controlled area within a shelter that you can have for yourself in a lifetime. People are making a lot of money from all over the world on greenhouse farming. We are going to take you neck deep into greenhouse farming and how you can also dig in, take a bite of the cherry. Today, you are going to learn so much more. You'll be thrilled and stay tuned in. And remember to subscribe to help show up the algorithm to make more people get access to these videos all over the world. Thank you and stay tuned in. Greenhouse was first started in the 1800s. A French botanist, Charles Lucien Bonaparte, is credited to have constructed the first practical greenhouse in Holland. He used this to grow tropical and medicinal plants. Initially, only the rich could afford greenhouses, but lately, greenhouses are scattered all over with improved research, and now it's rather making people rich. While you can grow your plants all year round and harvest and make a lot of decent income, other farmers have to struggle with the elements. And greenhouse affords the farmer the opportunity to grow the crops within a controlled environment where yields can be calculated and yields can be determined within a shorter period of time. Today, Agribusiness 233 has ventured into a greenhouse farm and is ready to learn how people are making millions from greenhouse and greenhouses all over the world. Agribusiness 233 met up with Bismarck, who helps manage one of the greenhouse farms in Ghana and is ready to share with us tidbits on how people are making it in this industry.
We talk about greenhouse, it's the same as farming in the open field. So greenhouse is mainly farming in a controlled environment. So in this case, you don't wait for rainfall or nutrients from the soil. So you have to apply fertilizer and water anytime the plants need it. So that's basically what greenhouse is all about.
So, in setting up a greenhouse farm, you need to put up, all this kind of structure, and people may find it a bit expensive, and that will be one of the major deterrents from starting a greenhouse farm. So, what can you say concerning the structure building and also farming, under this environment?
It's very expensive. So normally we have people who can help you build it. And for instance, this one is being run by AIC, Agri Impact Consult. So what they do is they build the greenhouses and they train the youths. Okay, so they give you the greenhouse and you manage it. And then as time goes on, when you harvest vegetables and stuff, they deduct you. Okay, so when you finish paying, the greenhouse becomes yours. So that's how it goes. But if you want to start it yourself, it's a bit expensive.
Okay. So mainly you have to work under a certain umbrella. There are certain people,
Yeah.
and you said the organization is called
AIC,
AIC.
Agri Impact Consult.
Oh, okay. All right. So what do we have here? Can you take us through?
It's tomatoes. The variety is Rwanda. So the Rwanda is determinate. We have two types of tomatoes that we grow in the greenhouse. The indeterminates and determinates. So the indeterminate takes about 6 months before it dies out. But the determinates mostly takes around 3 to 4 months. And the indeterminate can grow very tall. But the determinates, they are normally short.
Can you tell us about the yield? Which one has more yield?
The indeterminate has more yield because you'll be harvesting for long periods. Yeah. unlike the determinate, you'll be harvesting for, let's say, from the time it takes from transplanting to flowering and stuff, all that will take you around 2 to 3 months. So you harvest maybe for just a month, and by the indeterminate, you can harvest for like 3 months. So that's one produces more, but it all depends on the farmer. Maybe under this condition, maybe there are some places where the determinate works better than the indeterminate. So it all depends on the place where the greenhouse has been set up. So I think that's all.
Okay. So what we have here is tomatoes. And which variety of tomatoes do we have?
Rwanda.
Rwanda. And the Rwanda is sold in the open market. And or do you export this?
No.
So it's mainly for
Yeah.
the Ghanaian market.
So when we harvest it, we have a branch in the company, the AIs. They have a branch that sells the vegetables. We call them fresh logistics. So when we harvest them, they come for the goods and they distribute it to the customers. So they take some to Melcom and those small malls to sell them. So, but it's mainly for our local markets. They don't export it.
So if I'm a young person and I want to go into greenhouse farming, what would you advise me to do? What should the approach be?
Obviously, you need some startup capital. So you need some help. But if you are you have enough money to start on your own, then you need some other experienced people to help you so that they can manage the place for you, because it looks very easy and simple, but it's not very simple.
So people, a lot of young people, they want to get rich quick. So they think go into agribusiness. And, we know entirely the future is agribusiness. But a lot more young people want to enter and they want to explore the avenue of wealth creation. So do you think going into greenhouse farming can actually make you the millions?
It's can if you employ the right people. So, for instance, when you harvest a fruit and maybe for that period of 6 months or 24 months, depending on the variety, maybe you can get about 2 to 3 tons. And a kilo is sold at 17 cedis.
Okay.
So a ton is like 1,000 kilos.
Wow.
So if you are able to harvest the target, maybe like 3 tons, that's 3,000 kilos.
3,000 kilos
Multiplied by
times
17.
17.
So
Wow.
it's huge.
Yeah, it's very huge.
So
Running into about 60,000
So, and that isn't for the whole year. It's just for a period of, like, say, mostly 6 months. So you can do it like 2 times a year. So if you are getting, let's say, 50,000 to 60,000 in 6 months,
that's a lot of money. So that's for one shelter. So if you probably create other shelters, you are running into.
We have 10 here.
That's great.
So we can try to grow tomatoes here, and the next one will be green pepper. We have cucumbers. So it all depends on how we do it. And sometimes you have to check the season. So, for instance, if there are lots of tomatoes in the market, you can't plant it and sell it while there are a lot out there. If not, the prices may decrease. So yeah, so you have to manage it. That's why I said you have to get some people who are experienced in that field to help you run it.
Great. Wow. So right now we want to know the various things that go into, the shelter. We have an irrigation system here. We also have, various rows here. I know there are tubes that run through it. So can you take us through how these tomatoes here are grown?
Okay, so we don't use the normal soil. So what we have here is this medium. It's made of coconut husk.
Okay.
So you grind it and then we put it in this glow bags. and we put the plants in it. So there are no nutrients in it. So you have to supply nutrients all the time. And the irrigation systems are meant for that. And the roofs are called twines.
Trans.
So the twines are used to support the plants.
So how is it supporting the plant down there?
Okay, so for instance, if you take the twine off, okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
the
It will
plant
sag.
might, yeah. So if you put the twine there, we have something called trellising. So the trellising is mainly just supporting the twine, supporting the plants with the twine, so that it doesn't fall down. Because when it falls, maybe there might be fungi infections and stuff, and so it always has to be standing. So we support the twine, we support the plants with the twine, and that's called trellising.
So with the tubes, how often do you water this? Is it in the morning, in the afternoon, or in the evening? Or how do you do it with
So
irrigation?
mainly it's 3 times a day,
3 times a day.
but it all depends on the weather.
Okay.
Okay, so for today the sun isn't really shining, so you can decide to do it 2 times a day. So one in the morning and maybe one in the late afternoon. But when the sun is very hot, you can do it even more than 3 times. So it's just like how we drink water. So on a sunny day, maybe you can drink like maybe 10 cups a day. So, but on such days, maybe you can take just 2 cups. So it all depends on the weather condition. And when you enter, maybe when the weather is very hot, you can see that the leaves will be folding. So that tells you that it needs some water. So you open the drainage and you irrigate the plants.
So for us to have a shelter like this, do you have an idea of how much it may cost you for just one shelter?
At least 90,000.
At least 90,000
Yeah,
cities. So if you have a cool 90,000 Ghana cities, which is almost at least 90,000 Ghana cities, which is almost about $10,000, you can put your money here. So having something like this is going to fetch you several hundreds of thousands of cities. And if you convert it into dollars, that's also a lot of money, which is on a constant basis, not just a year, but throughout your lifetime. Wow. So what's your advice for young people out there who have started perhaps out of school, they want to, branch out to do something for themselves? What do you advise? Is agribusiness the way forward? Do you think perhaps um, starting out in a greenhouse farm may be something they should go out for?
I think they should. But, in going into it, you should know the do's and don'ts. So you should get the right people on board to help you. And then after that, I think it's okay to go into it because it will give you more money. But you need all the right factors in place for that to go well. If not, you may think it's a bad idea. So that's all I say.
Great.